Hi, I'm Sean Della Croce, and this is I Owe You an Explication, the podcast where I break down and explore the songs in my catalog and the inspiration behind them. If you're new to my music, welcome, and if you've been tuned in for a while, thank you for coming back. As always, you can learn more about upcoming events and releases on my website at seandellacroce.com. And be sure to use code IOU on my store to receive 10% off any purchase. That's 3 letters, IOU, for 10% off. Today we're discussing Pacific Coast Heartbreak, track number 8 from my record, Illuminations. Let's get started.
It's been too long since I made my bed. You know my mind's in the clouds and I got a heart of lead. And I'm afraid that it loses shape. And your outline here is something I can't erase.
Pacific Coast Heartbreak is an intense song for me. I love a good love song and even a good breakup song, but this one is where I really top out on the breakup angst. I wrote Pacific Coast Heartbreak around the year 2011, after an intercontinental, closeted relationship came to an end. While the song is very autobiographical, it was written so long ago that I really like to think of it as a narrative unto itself. So for the sake of this story, there is a breakup, and there is a third person, like a sort of love triangle, and that individual lives in California. In the story, the person who is left behind, me, pretty much unleashes a diatribe/pep talk to herself in order to cope with the fact that her beloved is headed west to try to work things out with the other person. And you know, it didn't help that that person was a man. Being in the closet never paid off for me. Also, just worth noting for fun, that Pacific Coast Heartbreak is of course a play on the acronym for the Pacific Coast Highway. And I love California now. Nothing against it. We made the whole record there. Life is just funny.
Well, it's been too long since I slept alone. You know I pulled up stakes and damn it, I left my home. And my sorry heart, you more than broke. I watched as you strung it out there at the end of my road.
If you write songs, perhaps you share this experience. In every song, there is a lyric that I absolutely revel in. It's the heart of the matter, the thesis statement. Sometimes that line is the song's hook, but not always. In this song, the hook is arguably the line, "Your trouble, love." And while that lyric links the different elements of the song together, my favorite one is this: "When your new love stops shining and it's rusted down, know that I may be landlocked, but I'm not around." I can't resist a slant rhyme. And there was some bias in me when I wrote the song. I felt like California was this remarkable place, and Tennessee was so average. So this line is another way of saying, the grass isn't actually greener on the other side. And I may be stuck here, but I'm not that stuck.
And when you see the Pacific, I hope it makes you cry. Realize what you're missing since I said goodbye. Your new love stops shining and it's rusted down. Know that I may be landlocked, but I'm not around.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I love alliteration. Maybe it's tacky. I don't care. Once, in college, a professor noted on one of my papers that she had seen, quote, enough alliteration. It hasn't stopped me. So when I think of production notes for this song, a few come to mind, but I have to call out what happens in one particular line. Realize what you're missing since I said goodbye. If you're familiar with audio production, you will know about sibilance. This refers to the typically unappealing and difficult to work with sounds like s and sh. So not only was I delighted to fit in some alliteration, but I also gave Alan Deremo, who produced the record, a real headache with the sing since I said. But I'm really glad we rolled with it, because in making space for something sort of ugly, I think we also make room for something you don't hear very often. And to me, that makes the song stand out.
Realize what you're missing since I said goodbye.
I would also be remiss if I failed to mention Alan's driving guitar performance throughout this song. Not only is he a brilliant bass player, but he also brings so much out of a guitar. His electric guitar carries through the song, which is an element that I think the tune really needed. And of course, there's this solo. When I really think about it, Pacific Coast Heartbreak emerged from abject rejection. And to me, by the end, that resolves into, wait for it, empowerment. I said it. Breakup songs can be fun, and this one is probably the closest thing to an anthem I'll ever write. It's a bitter song because that was the absolute truth of the matter at the time. I had to express the powerlessness and humiliation of being forced into the closet and then left for a man. It was a societal, religious, political insult, in addition to a romantic one. But anyone who has endured such a slap in the face can understand the core feeling. It's a bitter song because it was a bitter time. But I'm not bitter anymore.
Because I went to the mountains, because I talked to God, and soon I fell out of favor with the one that I was. I got to stir up some Russian and some wanderlust. I got the hell out of Nashville and I fell in love. And your trouble.
Pacific Coast Heartbreak was written by me, Sean Della Croce, and produced by Alan Deremo. It was recorded at Back 40 Studios in Leucadia, California. I play acoustic guitar. Alan Deremo plays electric guitars, keyboards, and bass. You can hear Billy Jolly on keyboards as well, and Molly Weaver lends her voice. Pacific Coast Heartbreak was mixed by Richard Bredice at Woodland Bredice Studios and mastered by Brent Lambert at Kitchen Mastering. This has been I Owe You an Explication. I'll see you next week when we discuss Lil, track number 9 on Illuminations.